Aloha! Welcome to Living Delicious with Helena. Today we are really living delicious. We have a special gourmet chef that flew over all the way from far Kauai, 30 minutes flight, just to present us with something very unusual. Raw food. Raw, uncooked food with Micah Skye. Aloha, Micah.
Good to see you. Aloha.
Welcome. This has been a trip for you, huh?
It's been a journey, yes, but with great benefits and rewards, so yeah. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you. Please tell us, I know about your work is all about healthy lifestyle, better choices, but also you do it in a very artful way. You are artist and creator and designer, as well as a raw chef. So tell us about the journey of a raw chef and also about mandala. What is mandala cuisine?
Mandala is a concept. Mandalas are ancient symbols that really represent source or spirit, energy. And they reflect the source and spirit and energy of food to me, not just in the artistry, but the sacred geometry of each nutritious little treat, each tomato, each onion, each piece of lettuce, each avocado that comes to the plate to make this dish that we're going to prepare today, specifically. Raw food is fascinating in the concept that you eat life, you add to the life of your body, and you eat something dead and you add to the death of the cells, so to speak. So as of 25 years old, we all start our aging process, they say, and that means the growth hormones shut off and we kind of start our long descent towards the aging process. So there are things you can do to add to the growth of your cells after 25, and eating live foods is an amazing process and an action you can take to gaining that.
And then how is raw food relating to mandala and sacred geometry versus cooked food?
Well, sacred geometry could be, and mandala could be applied to cooked food as well. But the thing that's neat about the sacred geometry of raw food is that enzyme-enriched foods take no energy to be digested. So when you eat something cooked, your body has to send all these enzymes down to your stomach and has to aid in the digestion of this enzyme-less food. So food that has enzymes in it, the food digests itself. So the concept of eating something for energy that would take energy to make energy doesn't really make sense to me. So these foods are light, they're filling, and they digest and synthesize into energy very quickly. So I always tell people that this is the eater's diet, because I love to eat, and when you eat this food, you have to constantly eat and eat and eat and eat. So, you know, and that's a really neat thing about it. But for some people, again, you know, we're set in meal plans, right? You eat this big heavy meal and you're tired and you sit back and you unbutton your pants and you have to relax, and I don't understand that if you're eating for energy, you should be ready to go, you know? And that's what this food really does,
That's why we have coffee.
So you create stimulants to give you a boost, and you sip that after your meal that's weighted you down. And, you know, again, with the industrialization of food came the concept of having to cook food, because we didn't trust how fresh it was, because it could be refrigerated or it could be dried and put in a box. And so we really lost that more communal relationship between farmers and even, I'll say, butchers, even though, again, we're talking about vegan raw. There was still that closeness, that close-handed relationship that kind of fizzled. It became less personal.
What I really personally like about you is that although I've been vegetarian since I was 15, and vegan, vegetarian, combining those things, most of the vegetarians and vegans are on a mission to prove something to the world.
The righteous.
Yes.
The righteous ones.
And in your case, knowing that your own daughter eats meat,
she does like meat.
Shows a lot of peace in the family.
Well, I was the righteous vegan for 10 years. I alienated a lot of my friends and family.
Yes.
Exactly. And you know, I had some teachers that really humbled me, and they challenged me to put it to the test, to try a piece of meat. I've claimed that I would get sick because it's been 10 years since I've had some. I don't have the bacteria to digest it. And so I did. So I tried some, and not only did I not get sick, which I claimed to get, you know, sick and whatnot, but my body was like, where have these amino acids and proteins been the last 10 years of your life? So it was very humbling for me, and I couldn't turn away from that fact. So we were originally designed not to digest muscle tissue, meat, but over generations we've adapted to digest those amino acids and proteins, and I just found I couldn't contain my diet in an intellectual box. That was really what came from it, is I had depleted my body of nutrients because intellectually I had said this is what's right or this is what's wrong. And in regards to my daughter, a 2-year-old who has no intellectual understanding or awareness towards what is right or meat is murder or any of these things, she just knows what the body wants.
Yeah, no fanatism.
So without even, I didn't teach her the word, we hadn't even have given her any meat, and she smelled it, and it was like her body just knew, like, I want those amino acids and proteins. And it was instantaneous, and it was a huge lesson for me, and then opened me up to writing a second book, which was more about bridging the gap between cooked and raw food. Because let's face it, even when I explain to you how logical raw food is today, it's not going to be something you're going to make 100% in your life. It just isn't.
So can you tell us briefly about your first book as well? Yes.
The first book to me is everything that every other book wasn't for me as a traditional chef going into, or just Johnny doesn't know anything, going into the raw food diet, the raw food experience. It is a gourmet raw cookbook as well as an instructional, educational manual. It is also a superfood dictionary and an urban spice guide, all combined into one. So it's everything I wished I could have had compressed into 350 pages of wonderful information, full color.
So let's say original question, why would somebody start with any kind of change in a diet? We have been eating this since time immemorial. My mom, my grandma, everyone cooks like this.
Because it's not working.
In which ways? How do we know it's not working?
Well, let's see.
Because usually we don't really assign physical diseases to the food.
Right.
Oh, my bones are weak.
Or the concept that food could be medicine.
Exactly.
Or it should be medicine. It should be regarded as something that's medicine.
Yes. So can you tell us about the transition?
Separate from the fact that there's now it's known as a lethal epidemic called childhood obesity in America, especially. And just the overall obesity factor in our country. I'm not going to say raw food is the answer, because there is no answer.
Good, thank you.
The answer is...
That's why I like you on my show.
It's because we've gone through the... I mean, you know, again, you can get righteous in this or that or whatever, but the bottom line is they'll never be able to prove that there is one diet that will save the world and is amazing and this and that. They've found some very interesting things, like with the raw food challenge, which we talked about. This video where they took a bunch of diabetics and they put them on raw food for 30 days, and I believe it was by the 20th day they stopped taking their insulin shots. They didn't require the insulin shot. So there's been some amazing stuff. I have a lot of patients in my neuromuscular practice that have gotten on the raw food and superfoods and enzyme-enriched foods that have shrunk brain tumors down from the size of a small baseball to the size of a pea. It's
within what space of time?
I mean, again, there's no quick fix. So I'd say probably about a year to 2 years that she was able to do that. It's the one I'm thinking of specifically. But there, you know, all that you can really look at least for me, and this is where a lot of my fascination came in, was the biochemistry of food and the physiology. How does this food break down in you? What is the biochemistry? What is your body? How does your body break the food down? How does it utilize it? And so that's where raw really made sense to me. As I said before, this enzymatic reservoir, you know, when you deplete that, those enzymes are used for all kinds of things: hair, skin, nails, immune system. So when they're depleted because you're eating these dead foods, then your body is depleted, it's imbalanced.